Yeah, Pavement. Yeah. All right, here we go. Here we go. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy King June here for the GOAT series, and I got a special guest. You know what I'm saying? Man, how can I describe this man? He's a hip hop. Well, how can I put it? Historian.
I'll be waiting to see how other people interpret it because I'm still trying to figure it out.
He's a hip hop historian, man. At first, I just thought he just covered Atlanta, man. This man covered the whole landscape of hip hop, and I respect it, man, because one day he'll be in Atlanta, next day he'll be in New York. I had the pleasure of meeting him for the first time, you know, at a video shoot. And out of anybody there, when I saw him, I was like, yo, that's Newface. I got to link up with him. And, you know, he was able to come to the show. Everybody, got my boy Newface.
Love and respect, man. It's an honor. And again, that was a historic day just to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? It was a far drive, but I love being a part of history. So I'm going to take those chances. And that's what Newface was there is about. Like, just being there is the win. Like, no matter what could have happened, y'all didn't have to put me in the video. I ain't had to be in the cameo, but it was all love because I seen the journey between all those. And then a collaboration like something called like country and rap together. Like, and I've seen College Park make history time and time again. So why the fuck wouldn't I show up to do that? And a black director and you know, somebody, a young cat that's like, that's how College Park always do is just giving game back to somebody else and giving them opportunity. They don't have to. He did Soulja Boy. He call up Hype Williams, Benny Boom, or somebody, like, to give somebody like yourself a shot. It's like those type of things I respect and just honored to be on the show that's called the GOAT series, you know. So thank you for having me too as well.
Man, appreciate it, man. Let's start from the beginning. Like, how did you, like, or when did you, you know, discover your love for, like, you know, hip hop?
Very early, you know, as any kid starting out, it was comic books, G.I. Joes, Thundercats, cartoons, Saturday mornings, cartoons, watching cartoons, toys, until my father took me and my cousin to the mall, and we got 3 Adidas tracksuits, all matching, black with the red stripe, in the shoes, in the shirt. Like, as a kid, nigga, he could have been done with fatherhood ever. Like, you won. Like, I'm so, like, daddy, thanks. Like, that was enough. Then we went to this place that's usually known for carnivals because I was a kid, like a circus. I'm thinking we're going to the circus. And we get there, and there was 3 white boys on stage, and it was fucking turned out to be the Beastie Boys. Next person on the stage is a gentleman sitting there on the boombox, just himself rapping. I need a radio. This is LL Cool J. Then the last set of guys is Jam Master Jay do his thing. Then out comes this group you know as Run DMC. And this is just like foreign to me. Like, and I'm seeing people of all ages, all genres, a huge place, and they saying the words, but then it was when Run, like, who got Adidas? Everybody that got Adidas, take his shoe off, put it in the air. And I'm looking at everybody else. Then I'm like, oh, shit, oh. And it was from there, I was like, oh, this is like it was a secret site in the end, but this is something I want to be a part of, to where, like, if we went outside that arena, nobody would get what just happened in there. And I was okay with that. So it was that moment, like, I kind of stopped comic book cards, stopped toys, it was all rap. And I got a Salt and Pepper tape and a Biz Markie tape, and I just listened to the radio for the one time when rap came on, because it wasn't always like the biggest genre like it is now. Like, they played it late night. It was the late night section. It was only for a limited amount of time. And I would be right in front of the radio with my blank tape with the tissue in it, recording that whole hour. Or trying to get the song, like when LL Cool J and Kool Moe Dee was dissing each other and trying to catch the response in the radio guy talking about that. So that's really where the transition started for me.
Okay. So I think you said was Salt and Pepper, that was your first album that you
Cassette tape, yeah.
Tape.
And this is back when Spinderella wasn't even it was Hot, Cool, and Vicious. Spinderella wasn't even a DJ at this time. And then you kind of elevate to a period of time where there was a company called Columbia House. And, you know, and you would see these things and it would say, 12 cassettes for a penny. I was like, oh, really? So I tried it once. Oh, this shit works. Oh, let me try again. Oh, you already have an account under Larry Compton. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll just simply change my name. That worked. I'm like, oh, and I don't need another address. Yo, my grandma be like, somebody, James Elroy, got a package. Oh, that's me, grandma. Don't worry about that. And so then that was just like, and I was just only picking rap back then. So a lot of my tapes you'll see like Columbia House. Then they so that's where maybe a bulk of my collection. I was just doing that, running the tab up under aliases, and in the back of my head, all I heard was, if you're under 18, you're not an adult, so it's okay. I was like, oh,
Like,
cool.
how are they gonna ID you?
Yeah, you know, and what you gonna take it back?
Yeah.
Like I've already got the enjoyment of it. If you want it, come get it. But if you find James and Leroy and Leonard and these cats right here, then so be it. But that's really where the collection and addiction started, and then with rap magazines as well, and Yo MTV Raps and Rap City back like when Run DMC was the first people on MTV, like because they weren't covering rap like that, and so just that whole evolution, just being there from the beginning, really sparked that interest in that.
Okay. So what would you say was your favorite like hip hop magazine publication?
Probably The Source, what people used to call the Bible of hip hop, because, you know, first I was a drawer. Like I used to draw in high school. Went to college for commercial art. I used to make this urban Bart Simpson shirts in high school. I would sell that Naughty by Nature hats. I would cut the sleeves out and sell those. And my T-shirts was like, it was iron-on crayons. So I would draw whatever I drew with the iron-on crayons on the paper, and what you did was flip it on the T-shirt and iron it on. And even becoming class president because of my drawing skills. I was supposed to draw the posters for a friend of mine that wanted to run for senior class president. And for whatever reason, he decided to bow out. And I had all these templates of just insert his name into these drawings that I had. And I was like, damn, these drawings hard, but I wanted to put my posters all over the school. So I was like, I'm going to run. And really didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to show my art. And so I did. I drew Ren and Stimpy, Dr. Dre, and the 6'4", talking about vote for Larry Compton for senior class president. And I fucking around and won. But not thinking my only purpose was just to show my artwork. So that just lets me know that's what drew me to hip hop, because I only picked up some of these rap magazines because of the covers. And I used to draw the magazine covers. Or but while I was drawing them or just taking a break, I was going through reading them, comments, the ads, and then you see the reviews of it. And so I was like, oh shit, it's like, this is really a job. And so I was reading like the credits, like, who wrote the article, who was the publicist, who was the CEO of this magazine, and you would see these names like a Daquan or Elliott Wilson and Rob Markman. I would see Brandon Peters. I would see like a Maurice Garland. I would just read all these names, and that stuck out. And you would read these things like a Patchwork Studio. This was recorded here, or this was taken at this so and so. And I just remembered all these names, and that stuck to me. So when I got to Atlanta, I was like, I wanted to seek out these places and these names. And so that's why when I see a Shaheem Reed or a Sway, that I'm going to come with their article, because I remember reading it like word for word, and they inspired me, you know. Fab Five Freddy, like, is my blueprint. Like, he was there, like, and from the NWA to going to the dungeon with Outkast and Goody Mob, like, I seen that, and I didn't know then, but that was the foundation that what New Face was there was about. But yeah, I just bought them magazines, and The Source was really my top one. And I think my earliest one was Redman on the cover, and he had the tissue paper in his nose. And I drew that cover, and I drew it while in class. It was kind of not bittersweet, but I would get straight A's. My grades were top notch, but I would finish early. So I would be talking or passing tapes around and rap magazines and chitter chatter, and that made the teachers mad. And my responses was witty, and I was known as a class clown. So I would get like an A and a 3 citizenship, and 3 was like bad, but I would get a good grade, and so it would just a bad juxtapose, but I would do that, and I would be that first kid with that chronic tape and passing around like, oh shit, Snoop or the deal, oh this, like it would just be chatter, and that alone thrilled me. Like I was like looking now back, like I was Instagram back then, because I would be the only one with a Nintendo back then, or I would be the only one with the Source magazine, and everybody wanted a chance at it. Like it got to a point where I was like, make sure you get my magazine back, or I want to take this to the gym and I give it back, and I'm like, right outside the class, you got my mag, bruh. The teacher took it, bruh. Like how to, so I was known even back then, as what I am now. Nothing's really changed. It's just the audience grew, but I've been the same way since, elementary school. But to your point, Source magazine was probably my first magazine, besides Word Up, but it wasn't really hip hop inspired.
Yeah, that was more so like for like girls and like posters and stuff like that.
But like when the LL was on it or in it, or Run DMC or Big Daddy Kane was in it, yeah, I look at it, but the Source was really in tune because they would tell stories about different cities, cultures, parties in other cities. So I really tapped into the Source.
Facts. Because I remember in the Source, like in the back, they had like the, what would you call
Photo
it?
gallery, or maybe, or the cartoons.
The cartoons.
The last word.
Yeah, the last word, yeah. Mm-hmm. I used to get the magazine for that and the cover, like you said.
Yep.
That was the dope elements of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wish they'd bring that back, man.
Yeah.
The game needs stuff like that because, before like the freshman
covers,
the freshman covers, we looked for if Outkast or Tupac or whoever got 5 mics or whatever.
And the thing is it was this thing called, it was a stamp, because if you were to get a 3.5 or more mic, your label would just consider that you would go gold. Like they had a influence on us buying things. Like I would read stuff, like I didn't never take it personal. Like I never seen a review like, oh, they gave it a 2 and I'm not buying it, because sometimes I would buy it just off spite. Like I mean, like Gangsta Boo got a 3 mic album.
Yeah,
that album was hard, but looking back,
which one? Inquiring Minds.
They gave it a 3 and 3 mics. And that's a classic to me, but looking back, they weren't really in tune and didn't know how to digest Southern albums. So a lot of the Southern albums that I was like a Big Mike or like, people that I looked up to, like they just didn't really respond well to it. So I'm looking at like, they just don't, they called this lackluster. Like, like even how they describe Killer Mike, like, oh, he trying to go for a crunk. Like they just described certain people that I looked up to, like, and I just took it as it is. I never like digested, like believed it. So, and I believed it in myself, so I still bought it. But I seen how they were compromised, because you would see like a Made Men album get 5 mics, and then you be like Benzino's in that group. Oh,
yeah,
and they,
yeah, we see.
Or G Unit, it got, and they got 5 ads, and and it just, you just seeing stuff start to compromise, and that happens in the culture.
I was telling somebody, I honestly think that the reason why Outkast really won that award that year was more so because I think their sound were kind of boom bap in a sense. And that's how like the up north kind of like, oh, okay, it sounds similar to what we got going on,
But they didn't, even when they won the award, if you notice, they were getting booed.
Yeah.
And if you look at Salt's Pepper's face, she was even like, she said, Outkast? And then
that was a classic album,
like, and that's why the anger, you've heard it in his voice. Like, dang, we won. This is supposed to be celebratory, but I'm hearing like, y'all niggas mad? Like, so, and again, they took that stance, and now look at where the South is at. Like, we've had it since then. You know what I'm saying? So like,
testament. And I think that he should coin that clip, even that phrase, the South got something to say. Because that shit was so powerful, man. Like, where was you at when all that occurred?
in Atlanta at Clark Atlanta at CAU, and I knew Gip at that time, and I saw he was there. I think, yeah. So I was in Atlanta watching it like as a proud AT alien because I was born in Detroit and moved here in '94 or '5 because of Freaknik, but I'll say college, but because of Freaknik, and just proud because I that's why I came here. Like there was a Different World TV show, and there was the Outkast album in '94. When I hear things like we caught the Marta, we caught this to Greenbrier, like all these words. So when I came here in '94, I saw these things they rap about, and I was like, along with Freaknik, like, yeah, I gotta find a reason to stay here. And again, that's what A Different World influence and Spike Lee's movie, with the college. And so it was like, yeah, this is gonna be why I stay here. And from there, I seen shit for the transition from the crunk to the booty shaking to the trap to the LaFace. I just seen the evolution of everything from that stand.
So what would you say if you could go back to one time period in Atlanta history? What period would you go to? Well, which one would you like to go to? I would say the crunk era. Like the crunk era, like what, 2000 to like 05.
Yeah, when you go to the club and you hear that 3 seconds of that song and everybody doing that.
Yep.
Put your hand to your fist. I did like that, but it was just very like I sacrificed a lot because I just wanted to be a part of that, and so it was dangerous. Like I would go to clubs I'd never been to, Libra, or just clubs I'd never been before in my life. Don't know where it's at. Don't care what neighborhood it is. Just to see that, or see them perform where they from. Yeah. That's what I used to always like to go to. Like when a fucking Parlay or Fable or Shorty Low is at Club Crucial, or a Tipper does something at Crucial, I want to go there because while it's something going on great outside, I want to see how the neighborhood treats them. That's when you really know if they're comfortable in their own skin, where they say they from. I'm a fly on the wall in that aspect. So yeah, the crunk era, but I would say like that whole, which is the transition into crunk, but that big oomp era.
Oh yeah, that was dope. But they paved the way for crunk.
Yeah.
In a sense.
But it was, to me, it wasn't as turned up. So I felt safer.
Yeah.
Like it's Sammy saying, like, it's cool. It's turned up, but it's cool. I can relate to this because it reminded me of Detroit and our dance craze, and it was reminiscent of what I was used to, But and then that phase when Birthday Bash was a thing, like Lakewood, Fort McPherson, like those were classic
Bud
times.
Fest.
Yeah, those type of things like that. When when Peachtree, you just drove down Peachtree and it was like a motorcade of cars. When I went to when the All-Star game here in Atlanta, when every car was playing 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying, like during those moments like that are ones that stand out for me.
Well, that's one thing I love about Atlanta. If it's hot, we like it. We'll fuck with it.
Yeah.
Like it don't matter where it's from. Like we embrace the G Unit era, the Dipset era. What's another era we embraced like really heavy? Like far as like everybody who had their movement or whatever. Yeah. But like even like if you listen to the radio, we never was biased. We played everything. Greg Street to play anything.
If you go up top, it was total opposite. You know what I'm saying? Like they would never be able to experience how Atlanta experienced that whole Jeezy era and that Trap or Die era. Like they would never get it. And the thing is, I always asked them, like, was it like that for 50 in New York? And it would be, I still ask this, but I never get it equates to how it was in Atlanta. That whole Jeezy, that BMF in Atlanta, like street pose was snowman's out. Everybody had the shirt. Every every car was bumping Trap or Die. Like you go to the bootleg shop at West End, you see drama tapes, Jeezy, and it'd be like, oh, Jeezy, this vibe. Like it'd just be, and I was just buying every one because I wanted to make sure I heard every one. And then now come to find out, like, it was bootlegs where I think an engineer stole something out of Patchwork and leaked the album. And so like I remember hearing songs with him and Jazzy Faye or him and Jody Bree, like, and I just wanted to make sure I heard it all. And I know that's when I'm like really a fan. Like when you want to hear everything, like when Kanye came or Lil Wayne, like it's like certain people where it's like you just want to hear everything.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. We took like anything that was popular, even like fashion, we adopted it. Like when Kanye was out, shit, I say when Jay-Z was like, wear button ups and shit.
Yeah.
We was rocking the button ups
I remember
with the bowling shoes.
I remember going to Lenox Mall at that Champs right there by the California Pizza Kitchen during the Dipset time. Tall pink tees, in the window, the 5 for 20. Pink tees was all in the window, hanging down. And I was like, oh yeah, see, that's when you know you kind of impact culture when like every other city wants to be like you, tall tees, and that's where when I seen that, that's when I started making clothes. So I started, selling clothes from New York, and that's really where New Face derived from, New York, but I was new to Atlanta. It's a play on words, New Face in Atlanta, but I was selling clothes from New York. And once I transitioned from that, I started making my own clothes and drawing catchphrases on tall tees because those were the cheapest things. I can get 4 T-shirts for $20, and I'd sell each one of those shirts for maybe $50 to $100. So if I can make $300 to $400 from a $20 flip, and that person will wear their stuff on stage or in the video, that was my blueprint for a good 5 to 7 years. So you'll see like a Carlos on stage wearing my stuff, K-Dub on TV One wearing it on He Got Jokes, or DJ Ant Love on the Monique Show wearing a shirt, that New Face made by hand. Like this wasn't no, you go in the stores buying it. Like every person that bought a New Face shirt, you got it from me, hand delivered. Like yeah, I would like to be in stores, but looking back, those relationships that I still have now is because of that relationship that I made back then. But yeah, during that time, that's my era, that big oomph.
Yeah, I would say like Tight to Death, like Raheem and Big Oomp was kind of hand in hand in a sense, cause Raheem came out with like the booty shaking music. Then he kind of went somewhat into the crunk phase with like Drama and Hydro, well Young Dro now.
Yeah,
what I'm saying. So,
he signed under his label. Fabo and Dro were a group.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then Dro eventually went from there to Rocky Road Records, which is Rocco. But I just seen Raheem, because we had somebody in Detroit by the name of Eshawn that made a great music and great career. But I just seen he was an entrepreneur. He was an independent record label. So when I got here, I looked at Raheem like, oh, he's on TV. Same with Camp. They had Camp TV. They had their own store. I looked more about the business acumen than the actual music. I was like, oh, I like how they move, and then the music just spoke for itself. But I looked at how they did business and represented like as a black man, and that's what attracted me to Atlanta. It's like, oh, you can be low key, rich and successful in one city and can stay here. And you can probably go to another city and make a bag, but you can make it here. Yeah. You can go to Decatur, Greenbrier. You can do 4 shows in the city of Atlanta in one night. I've seen it. Yeah. You go to 4 clubs, if you got the good 2 songs, you do it.
Yeah, make you a bag a night.
In Houston, that's why, Slim Thug can have an album called Already Platinum, and that'd be his first major album because he was independent. Because in Texas, you got Austin, you got Dallas. Like he was
a big market
platinum
out there
in Texas. He don't have to go to, but they came to him, and I love that acumen like that independent where they seek us.
Yeah,
like we don't really need them, but if you're gonna help us get to this M, then let's see what we can do. But we don't need you.
Facts. By any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would you say? I see. You work with a lot of people. You do a lot of traveling, and you've bear witness to a lot of history. What would you say one moment that you will always remember?
I got a good top 2. First is the At Last Outkast reunion at Centennial Park. I just remember the anticipation once they dropped the announcement. It was on Creative Loafing, like show coming soon, and people were buying tickets, but they would sell out real quick. So then they added another day, then they added a third day, and I got tickets for the third day and ended up getting tickets for the second day. And so that was, that just leading up, being at that Publix on North Avenue, waiting in line, and finally getting the tickets, going to that Sunday show, seeing a Bun B, a early Kevin Gates, Tila, Pastor Troy, the whole Centennial Park, the whole city out, smelling like good, great green, and everybody's drinking, no violence, and then fucking Outkast, and not just like Big Boy, but Big Boy and Andre 3000, and then the Whole Wide World, and Killer Mike comes out, and Goody Mob, and Erykah Badu, and Greg Street's over here interviewing, and like that just was like a priceless day. Like I went to the CNN Center to get like a view, and I have this picture, and you could just see a sea of people just right there. Like that's one of my greatest days ever. Like New Face was there moments. Second would be at the Fox Theater, the 10th anniversary for Trap or Die. Jeezy did a show at the Fox Theater and brought out fucking everybody. Like everybody. Fucking Usher, Boys in the Hood, Kanye West, Andre for I Do, Kanye, like this fucking lit. Like and back then, people see like me on the stage or backstage, but like there was this transition. Like I would be in the fucking them cheap ass tickets, like, and still happy. Like it wasn't like, oh, I gotta get, it wasn't that. It was like, yo, this dude is putting on the show, and every word for word, look at this. And it was back, like I have a picture with Kanye West did his first show in Atlanta at Earthlink Live, and he's orange polo shirt with the jacket, and there's one guy doing like this. I had a disposable camera. I always kept a disposable camera, and I got a picture of the audience, and there's one flip phone in the air taking a picture. Yeah. And I was just like, now you reverse that to the Kanye show when he did Pablo at Phillips Arena. Yeah. Everybody has a phone. And I was like, damn, I watched the transition from it go from like no pictures, because who's going to look back at that picture he don't have that phone no more. Like, and remember the flip phone, that picture was fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, so
very pixelated.
Yeah, that shit.
Small.
So, but it just was a sign of the times and the evolution of where we are now, because now somebody else said it, Division, Daniel, was like, people go to these shows now and they just want I was there, and they're not even able to really enjoy the show. And I thought about it too. I was somewhere and it was like, give it up for so, and it was a legend, and they couldn't clap. Everybody was like, yeah, and I didn't think about it. It hit me. You can't clap, because if your phone's like this, you can't. So it's like, dang, we can't even give people a round of applause because for this sacrifice of the I was there moment, and I captured this moment. So and that's been kind of a thing with me. It's like I just go to document it, and I'm like, I find myself like, yeah, I'm gonna just leave my phone in my pocket. I'm gonna enjoy this, because shit, clearly everybody else got the footage. So what, I'm always trying to be different. So if everybody try to be front row or right there in the best shot, then let me go further back. Because I look at your page if I need to resort, but I do go because people be like, man, no, it ain't official. Like if New Face isn't there, and it's a lot of people be like, I be living vicariously through you. So I kind of do it for them, but I kind of find that fine line, because I'm a creative too, and I know I would like to hear applause, but everybody, ain't applauding because, they got their phone. Or everybody on the stage with you. That killed me too. If your whole crew on the stage, who in the audience clapping for you?
Yeah, because everybody want a piece of the limelight. Yeah, which is crazy. Everybody want to be a star and not a fan anymore.
And Royce, my brother Royce, 5'9", was like, taught me, he's like, fame is one of them things that you don't know you don't want. You know you don't want once you get it. Once you get it, it's too late. But you're like, damn, I didn't want this. Because he tells a story like, he looks at Eminem like, it's fucking Eminem. Eminem is looking at him envious like, you get to pump gas. I can't do that. You get to go in the mall or go to Target. I can't do that. you know, and then you had to look at yourself. You know, I had the conversation with Killer Mike too. It's like, cause I'd be like, he gets to tour and he has a conversation. I was like, hey, but you get to like go to your daughter's school, you know, you get to be there for your kids, like, and they sacrifice that. And so I find myself just appreciating them more because of the sacrifice that they take. Like, you know, Tip had to be on the road or, you know, doing this thing, but it all worked out because look at his children get to do a show at the Phillips Arena. I mean, you know, Phillips and State Farm Arena, and do a show with your son Damani during the halftime of the Hawks game. You know, and his son, you know, Buddy Red, you know, Messiah did a show at Center Stage. You know, and then I was on stage when he brought his 8-year-old daughter Eris out, and she sang her little heart out. You know, so it's just like everybody's journey is their journey, and I'm never, you know, I just like watching it. Like I'm addicted to evolution. Like I love seeing something grow. And if I could say, and I don't want no parts of it, like everybody was gonna make it with or without me, but I would just like to be like, I helped contribute on the way, and did something to, you know, water your garden, you know, and put that out in the energy, in the atmosphere. And I would just want to be somebody that's good for the ecosystem.
Facts. So that leads me to my question. So like when it's all said and done, like how do you want to be remembered?
Just as a Clarence Avant. I watched this movie on Netflix, The Black Godfather, and that really, I still don't know what I do, but when I seen that, it really put in the capsule of what I want to be remembered as, like, because I seen the people that was talking in reverence of him, and it started out with like Obama and Clintons and Snoop Dogg and Quincy Jones, and I'm like, who the fuck? And when people say that about me, it's like, you don't know new face, you know, like, and I want to just be like that most known unknown, but somebody that added value to not just celebrities, but people in general. You know, somebody that added value to you. Like when you see me, you're going to see us, and us, I mean somebody that supported me or supported us through the journey. Like, so, you know, you see me, like, I got this coat from Mr. Fab in Oakland, and this brand is Ken Lo. This is Giorgio's, and these socks is Freckles, and these Pumas I got from Kenny Burns. Like, I'm representing us, you know, and they bless me with these things, and I want to like do right by them and represent their brand in the best way, and hope people support them because they seen it on me type thing. Because I bought certain things because of artists, you know, like we was talking about. People bought pink tall tees because of Cameron. People bought Timberlands. People bought button-up T-shirts because of Jay-Z. People bought the polos because of maybe Young Dro or Kanye. You know what I'm saying? So I know influence is real, and I just want to be somebody that known for adding value and really just personally just be somebody that my children, my daughters specifically, are like proud of. So, you know, social currency is something I'm big on. So when I go somewhere and they're able to go to the Atlanta United soccer games and we're going to the suites, it's because of my relationship with somebody and they're able to benefit from that shit. That's what I do it for. So it's not really for me. I live off the universe, but I want to be able to make sure I could take somebody with me, because things do happen on it while I'm out. And I'd be like, dang, nope. Like, I say it and people like, it's unbelievable to me, but I'm like, this is my new normal. Like, I used to dream of like being on a stage with fucking Killer Mike and the Goody Mob, and now I'm able to go, and now T.I. is saying, and New Face was there, like, what the, like, how did we come here? But it's because I think of the value that I added to these people and the respect that I showed them, you know, because a lot of people know me for what I post, but a lot of people respect me for what I don't post, because it's easy to go down that shade room or that slander or that gossipy shit, but I want to make sure that that artist is and their families is protected, and I tell the good side. People be like, you always got, everybody's your favorite. And I was like, it's a lot of stuff I don't like. Well, what do I gain from telling y'all about it? I'm going to shine light on what I love. So, you know, that's what I want to be known for. Positivity, social currency, and intentional with my movement. And I want other people to say they were there. Like, be proud that you were somewhere, you know. And, or I see people be like, I'm getting my New Face on, and they show me a video of them getting they stuff autographed. Princess from Crime Mob was on tour. You know, they closed out the Millennium Tour, and she got Bobby V and Bow Wow and the whole Cass signing her outfit that she wore, and people in the comments like, "Oh, you getting your New Face?" Or New Face gonna have that in his museum. So it's like stuff like that let me know I'm like impacting the culture, and so I'm in the right direction.
Yeah. So like, how can anybody, you know, follow you and keep up with what you're doing and all of that?
First, stay tuned for new content. On YouTube is I Am New Face. On Twitter and Instagram, it's at New Face. Nostalgia is my brand. Nostalgia is this feeling like when I break out something and you instantly get taken back to when you first had it. If I break out a Nintendo controller, maybe you had this, or the Sega Genesis cassette. So Nostalgia is like the brand with the collection and the archives. So you can follow those as well. Also on 85 South Show, I have kind of a reoccurring role on there. Shout out to that whole crew, Carlos Miller. So at the end of every episode, Carlos may say, "We got our local historian, New Face. What you got for the guests?" And I make my appearances through there. You know, so you can follow me there, and just really in real life, like, you know, if phones go away, I'm still gonna be there. Like, this is not really about social media or me trying to create something. This is like real life. So reach out to me in real life if you see me. A lot of people have been doing that in real life. Like I was telling JC, who DJs for Goodie Mob, like I used to kind of go to the bathroom or leave once the show is over, but now it's like, "Oh man, are you New Face? Oh, I know you from," like, and there's these conversations, and it's like, oh, it's a little bit different now. Like I became what I was kind of, you know, people, I've signed like maybe 3 autographs this year. Like, and I'm like, what, me? You know, but that's just a transition. So yeah, follow me there and catch this episode, man. And thank you for having me too.
Man, I appreciate you, you know, you pulling up, and hey man, shall we, you know, cross paths again, and, you know, in our new elevated state, you know what I'm saying, as far as, you know, what the universe have in store for us, man.
Yeah, and what you did is something that really where I'm at now is because I read a book called Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes, and she talked about just saying yes to everything on her journey and how her life was impacted tremendously. So when somebody had called me and say, "Let's do this, like we on Instagram, you hear let's link, and it's just be talk. But when somebody like yourself or certain people, like I got the video shoot, pull up, I take that wholeheartedly, because it's a lot of shit I used to be like, I wish I was in that room. Ooh, I wish I got invited. You know. So when somebody call me or you say pull up or what time, what did I say? I'm here. Tell me the time. I'm here, because I don't take, you know, I don't take it for granted. So that's why I'm here. So if you see me in real life and you want to do something, you think I can add value, and you think we can add value to each other, because a lot of people say they want to build, and it seemed like I'm the one that's laying the bricks, and you just benefiting from it. So, you know, I'm glad that you reached out, and I was out and answered back. So, thank you.
Let's get it. And for all of you all that out there that was tuning in to this interview, we closing out like this. Y'all give it up for today's guest, you know, New Face. Make sure you follow him on all social media platforms and everything he got in store for 2023. It's your boy King June signing out.